Microphone is hot.
All right.
Who's first in the room today? Mauricio.
Hey, Maurizio, how are you, brother? Hey, Thomas. I'm just going to let everyone talk.
Hey, Scott. How are you, mate?
Yeah, a bit knocked around today, but I think we've got some interesting stuff to talk about, which is kind of important.
Yes,
hey,
Scott,
Thomas,
how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Okay, so the big news is we have this kind of obvious from space support at the old highs. We busted through it with a bit of momentum and then bounced straight away. So in other words, behaving like a textbook thing, this should be a pretty reasonable bounce. To me, it seems too obvious to be the bounce, but we're going to look at some on-chain metrics and you'll see that this is a plausible place for it to stop. I don't think this is the end. So you can see previous bears all ended in the red with one sharp shove down into the red. This one, as we go back in time, same thing. This one. This was just. Now you can see that we're just in the red. So I mean, yeah, we've got the minimum requirement met. Like the AWC switches off when this goes into the red. I don't think there's enough pain. What it should feel like at the end of the cycle is that you don't know if it's ever going to come back. And right now it feels like, oh, fuck, that's cheap, and not, oh shit, crypto could go to zero. If you know what I mean? Like that's what it should really feel at a bottom. And it doesn't quite feel that way to me yet. So what I suspect we're going to feel at the eventual bottom is, fuck, this thing got started in 2009. It's never ever been tested in a recession. It's not an inflation hedge. It's proven that. It's not a store of value. It's proven that. What is it? I don't know. I don't know if it's ever coming back. It should feel in 2018, it felt like it really could keep falling and falling and falling. Now, where should it stop? It should stop well ahead of a price that's a no-brainer for someone to take a flyer bet. Like if you ask someone, do you want to buy a Bitcoin for $1,000? They would say that there's a pretty decent chance it's going to be 10 or 20 grand again. So buying it for $1,000 is a no-brainer.
Yes.
Right. Interesting.
I think we lost Scott.
Hello, Scott. You there? I think he's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's dropped off, but he should be able to just rejoin. He'll realize that he's dropped off. He hasn't just frozen.
Because we still haven't a look at his screen, but I don't know if it's frozen or some.
Let's see if we can get him on a quick Slack message.
Sorry, guys. My Wi-Fi cut out. How much did you miss there?
The last
a lot.
So my gut feel is that it's gonna get cheap, but not so cheap that it's a no-brainer to take a bet. And to me, a no-brainer. What do you guys think a no-brainer price is?
I have a guess, because people are already talking about 10K, and so
exactly.
I think it's never going there. But 15K could be a good somewhere between 18, just under where it went, and 15. I think it's going to be there because after that, people are going to believe it's going to 10K at 100%.
I agree. Somewhere I would say between 14 and 16 is the price where, wow, that's stupid cheap. Like that's cheaper than we ever thought we'd see it. But it's still not a like, fuck it, I can afford to throw that money away kind of thing, right? So that's my gut feeling of how I think it's going to play out. Now, the other thing that we've got in play is the 3 arrows capital shit gets forcibly unwound at about 13.6. So if it hits 13.6, it will probably flash crash below 10. And what I suspect is that CZ and SBF probably will step in ahead of that, just because it would damage their whole businesses so much to see it go down below 10. So let me show you a couple of things.
And the major concern I have currently is the fact that the altcoin are holding better than Bitcoin, and in a bear market,
Okay,
that doesn't make any sense.
That. So what we have now is we have forced unwinding. So what we don't have is people deciding, oh, I'm done with crypto. People who use their crypto as collateral for all that bullshit yield farming, which I always said was bullshit, and I never once wavered. So what do you mean you're being paid a yield to? What the fuck? Like you're taking counterparty risk. Like, of course you don't even have a contract with these people. Like of course you don't want to do that for 5 or 10% or even 20% a year. Insane. So no, I never did any yield from it. So this is the percentage of entities in profit or loss. And you can see here previous bear markets end roughly around here, and we're still a little bit short of that. So that sort of tells me that we're not quite at max pain, and that's the gut feel that I have for it now, is that 20 was just a bit too obvious. It's the obvious technical analysis point. We have if we look at realized losses, I'll just make it daily so we can see it easier. You know, pretty
So Scott, you didn't finish. What do you think about the fact that altcoin are holding better than Bitcoin? It's because
so the forced liquidations are selling the things that are easy to sell. It's easy to sell $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. You can sell $100 million worth of Ethereum.
Okay.
If you try and sell even $50 million worth of ADA, you're going to tank the market. And if you own $50 million worth of fucking Ronin, green Satoshi token, Neo, legacy shitcoin, BSV, any of that, like even $10 million worth is going to tank the market. Like that shit is literally unsaleable, right?
Okay. But my idea is the fact that people are not panicking, because if they was panicking, I think altcoins were going to a lot more.
My feel is that we're not at the end because altcoins still haven't started to really go down. In fact, some altcoins have gone up pretty substantially compared to Bitcoin. I think alts have another 80% down leg.
Okay, so you're on the same page as me. So
yeah, I think alts. I think alts are down mostly 90 to 95%, some up to 98%, and I think they mostly have another 50 to 80% leg down, depending on the alt.
Okay.
I wouldn't hold any alts at all. The only one that's holding up reasonably well is Woo, by the way. Yeah, but I'd like to see another flush down in Woo. I'd pick some up. I'd pick some up for 5 cents if I could. So we're at this. We look at the hodl waves, and we take out all the long-term ones. And just leave the 1 day and the 24-hour. You can see that these spikes are like pretty historic. Like these are, we spike at market bottoms and at market tops. These are, this is a big spike, but not quite like an epic end of days, end of bear market spike like you had in April 2020, or if we go back to 2018. Not quite here, not quite here. So I think we've got one more in us, is the bottom line. And it still feels a bit too cute to be buying right now. The good news is.
Good news?
Good news. We have the possibility of a V bottom. Why? Because when we have extended bear markets, people pull their money out of Bitcoin, like actually take their money out, like here, even a little bit here. But we're really not seeing that this cycle. Bitcoin is almost at the highest number of addresses with a non-zero balance. And this one can't be faked. This one can't be gamed. So what we're seeing is increased fundamentals, as in adoption, in the face of terrible, terrible price action, which leaves away the possibility. And I think it's a minority possibility now, but if we get a really sharp shove down, let's not forget this one was when the market looked really, really good. And I know because I bought in on this retest buy here, and it looked really, really good. And then the coronavirus came, and the stock market just, took a shit all over the crypto market. And I think this is the analogous thing, right? Like what happened to us recently, really, it was looking great. This was looking very bullish, and the stock market took a shit all over the crypto market. So we're leaving open the possibility, and I think it's a minority possibility, but it should still be there, of a straight up V bottom. A V bottom, the inflation hedge narrative coming true, but late. And people finally realizing that everyone who was going to sell, if you were going to sell your Bitcoins, you'd be selling them now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's so it becomes really a binary thing, right? Either it's going to go way, way down, or we're going to shake out a lot of people here. Either or. I don't think alts are going to recover anytime soon. I think most alts were shown to be kind of bullshit this cycle. I'm actually really, if I'm looking at it honestly, I'm really disappointed that as an ecosystem, we didn't accomplish more that was real, that I didn't notice how much of what's going on was Ponzi's. Honestly, I think if anything, Bitcoin's increased its dominance. Like Bitcoin fought off a lot of challenges this cycle and has become even more dominant than it was.
I think so. Yeah, no, I think so. Quick question, Scott. If let's say we have a big bottom right now, what are the things to actually get back into Bitcoin?
I think it's all. I think it's all Bitcoin for a while.
But we're in cash. Like at the moment, let's say we're in cash at the moment. So when let's say
so the system puts us back in when NUPL goes positive. I will probably do I will probably do a cheeky bid before that personally. If we get another drop and it's playing out like I see, what I'm looking for is on a 1 hour chart, real signs of capitulation.
Actually, I can see a V bottom, but after the next drop, I think maybe the next drop is going to be much more sharper, and then it's going to bounce quicker.
And what we need to see a V bottom is this rally to look really quite convincing, and people to think maybe it's okay, and then have their little hopes dashed. So this one has to really suck in all the buyers, so there's no buyers left, and then a big crash down, like something that really, it should really feel like, oh fuck, we've got this very,
done that though.
Hasn't done it yet.
No. It's only just come back and started to test where this little crash began.
Yeah.
We haven't had a retest, so check it out on a daily chart. So what I'm thinking is that this will probably, this is a partial day, so you can't read much into it. I think we probably need a retest, and then people are a bit freaked out. Like obviously, there's still other shoes to drop, other liquidations to come. Does Celsius survive? Does 3 Arrows Capital survive? What else is there's that other Chinese lender is in trouble. What else is going on? Like all of that yield farming shit has got to be burnt to the ground before this is all over, right? Like no one smart would invest in size until you have clarity on that. So what I'm hoping for is a decent rally. Well, probably not like that. Probably
somewhere between 22 and 24K.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Maybe textbook would be here, right? Like up to the old lows. Maybe a little bit past textbook, 24 to 26 ish. Right. Maybe a little bit below. I think, and then if we saw something very, very sharp and scary, something that really made you think, oh fuck, I'm not transferring money.
In terms of emotion, people were thinking, oh, that was the last drop, and finally we went up, and then finally not, and so full depression and so on.
Because like right now, I'm still feeling really good about buying Bitcoin at a lower price. At the time when it's a low, I should feel really bad about it. I should not feel good at all. It should feel like, oh, you fucking idiot. What are you doing throwing good money after that? Like,
actually, I'm feeling like FOMOing in because I missed the low. And
yeah. No, don't do that. Don't do that, brother.
No, I know, but this is what I feel. So that's probably not what a bottom feel like.
Exactly. So almost by definition, it can't be a bottom while you feel any trace of FOMO, because like I remember what it was like in stocks in the bottom in 2009, and I had plenty of spare powder. I was mostly in cash by then, and I didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. Same in the coronavirus crash. I cut everything early. I had plenty of spare powder. I didn't have the guts.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got really.
I'm worried because this anemic bounce at the moment is so shallow.
I agree. It's very until we get a retest, you can't really gauge the quality of it, though, right? Like, I mean, look at it. It's definitely counter trend, right? Like it's got the character of counter trend. It's fighting against the tide compared to obviously with trend, right?
Yes.
Easy down, hard up. So this is obviously counter trend. I think this is probably about as far as it gets before it makes a retest and then finds a bottom, and then we get a real rally.
And you can't forget that the American market is on holiday today as well.
On holidays today, yeah. So that's a really interesting point. I think it's probably going to take a bit. It usually, in my experience, it usually takes a bit longer than we think to resolve these things. So if we think, say, another day up, another another day or two for a retest, another couple of days to get started. Like that's looking towards the end of the week. And then we're looking at a potential crash on Sunday again. And we know crashes happen on Sunday, right? Like I think just reading the tea leaves a little bit.
For me, I'm looking at the window between the 5th of July and the 10th of July.
Yeah, I think we're looking at another Sunday Bloody Sunday situation. Actually. I certainly wouldn't be getting in now. That's for damn sure. Like if I get in, I want to restore some pride and get the absolute bottom tick, right? Like the no fucking around bottom tick.
I like your idea about getting on Grayscale. That's a great idea.
I believe so. So the Grayscale premium. So if we load this out to a year, 3 years, you can see it was when we're in a bull market, it was trading at a premium, and then February 24th, it dropped to be a discount. Now it's at a 34% discount to, so in essence, you're buying your Bitcoin on a licensed and regulated thing for 34% cheaper than you can get it at Binance, and you can sell it, legally and, tax effectively. And this might drop to be, in a real crash, this would probably drop to be 50%. If you were getting, $14,000, $15,000 of Bitcoin with a 50% discount, that'd be pinching it, I reckon.
Look at the premium that was on there. It was 132.5% maximum at August 31st, 2017.
Let's have a look a bit longer. Oh, 90. Jesus.
So you'd hold this into the bull market, the next bull market. So you buy in at the very best you possibly can get. You're not going to obviously get exactly the bottom, but you might get a really good discount in the first place, 50%, let's say, right? And you hold it to 150, just like a 200% return.
This is not a bad idea for a super fund, right?
What is the main thing about Grayscale? Like, I'm not across this. How do you buy it?
It's a Bitcoin Trust. It's not an ETF. They're not allowed to do any bullshit with their thing like yield farming or any shit like that. They've got to custody their own shit, and it trades at a premium and at a discount, and you've just got to wear that. The terms of the licensing are very, 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 very strict. Like they were the first one allowed, so the regulators are like, no bullshit. You have to play straight bat with this. Like if you've got $100 million worth of inflows, you can buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin, and that's it. You can't lend it out. You can't yield farm it. You can't stake it. You can't do any shit at all with it, other than cold storage, and cold storage, less insurance, less a management fee.
And it's available in pretty much any brokerage.
Yeah, it's GBTC is the stock code. It trades on the NASDAQ.
Got it. I see now. So, but in terms of the difference on buying the actual coin to this, because essentially if you buying this, it sort of tracks the same price accordingly. So obviously the only difference that I see is that you go through a regulated NASDAQ stock market. That's the only thing that in terms
5 days a week instead
you
of 7.
buying.
Crashes on a Sunday, you have to wait till Monday to get out. Could crash 30% on a weekend. That could fuck with you. That's definitely something to think about.
We're not planning on that.
They could get hacked, but they're insured. They could rug pull, but I don't think that's a realistic thing. Like it's very heavily regulated. I think it's a decent. And in a bull market, what happens is all these, a hedge fund might want to get some crypto exposure, but there's no way a hedge fund is going to get the mandate to like custodies and like counterparty risk or leave it on it, but to just buy another stock code, well, that's something that they're allowed to do, right?
That's got it. That's yeah. No, now I get it. Now I get it. Now I get it. Yeah, because obviously from that perspective, now I understand. Yeah, no, yep. Now I get it. Okay.
Like I told my father to do this one, but just because he's a fucking boomer. Still.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm interested in what you guys think. You guys have, you want to share any thoughts you have?
Oh,
yeah, I was going to because I've been monitoring some alts, right, in terms of the strength against Bitcoin, and have a look, for instance, FTT against Bitcoin, and you know, there's some alts that are actually holding much better than Bitcoin on this drop. So is any thought?
Lots of alts holding really well.
Yeah.
I think that's all about forced selling, man. And I wouldn't trust me. I don't think that's a sign of strength.
Okay.
I just think it means that alts are to be effectively dumped yet.
well, there will be
17 cents. It was down by 10.
There will be some alts which will survive a bear market and come out stronger. And there's going to be a whole lot that go to the shed.
The great shitcoin graveyard in the sky.
That's the one.
That's the one. Its chart, like, or what about all those 2017, 2018 cycle alts that never recovered, all the legacy Neos,
like
Litecoins, the
XRP.
What are some of those? ICX, OMG,
Neo.
ZX, Neo. I was so red hot on Neo. Like, they were nowhere. And so I think your default assumption has to be that we'll get a bunch of new hot Ponzi's on campus, and these will maybe fade into the background like that, right? Where's EOS?
Yes.
With that weird little midget, the weird little what's his name? Cowboy hat midget.
No, you're getting things confused. You're getting things. Gary Coleman?
Brock Pierce. Brock Pierce.
He's got me thinking about Fantasy Island, moment.
And sold Tether. Yeah, no, he's just a weird little guy. He was a child star from Hollywood who got butt fucked by a bunch of older Hollywood stars and ratted them all out, and then got into crypto super heavily. Started Tether, started EOS. Yeah, weird story. Lives in Puerto Rico. Yeah, but I mean, you know, there'll be a new cast of characters for next round, right? But I guess the main points for me, Bitcoin's the thing to hold right now. Some alts will survive. It's unclear which ones. I think we're close. I don't think it's going to be an extent. The faster and sharper the drop we have now, the more likely we have a big one. If this drags out over 2 months, I think it'll be probably a slow and painful, like suicide-ish looking as well. I'd rather just tear the band-aid off personally.
Oh, wouldn't
I'd rather
that be
see
nice?
it crash to 15, 14, game over and back on like Donkey Kong. It's back at 20.
What if we get a market which was similar to 2019, I think it was, where
focus to chase no, to just put the 2020 when the coronavirus crashed, and what it did is it just showed that can't kill it. Like guys not.
So, sorry, we can.
Well, hang on. You guys have a fair. You guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's getting cut off quite a lot.
Sorry, I'm on this.
You got to kick the kids off the internet.
Yeah. Is there any internet here? I'm using.
Well, there was, but the kids are using it now to watch Disney.
No, I'm by myself here. No, I've got nothing on the torrents. So
Just got a quick query. Oh, sorry,
Sure.
Scott. Yeah, I've just an interesting observation that one of the folks I chat with about a lot of the recent coins, the ones that have been the sort of hot kids on campus in the last round. Nearly all of them have got massive extended lock-ins. Massive amounts of capital have been locked up. The sell pressure on those coins is going to be absolutely colossal over the next sort of 18 months.
Ferocious. I think that's a really good point. And I think there's a follow-on point from that too, is that in 2018, it was guys like you and me getting wrecked. This time it's the institutions who are getting wrecked because they're all locked up. Don't forget, they all VC'd into Luna with a 3 or 5 year lockup kind of shit.
Yeah.
So this time it's really the institutions getting fucked over.
Good.
It's just something to be vigilant over picking if we're picking alts going forward. I mean, obviously not now, but in sort of say 6 months time, it's something we need to pay attention to.
I think that's a really, really good point. And we're going to need to do a lot of fundamental due diligence on like who owns these fucking things, who are the top 50 holders, when are they locked up till, what do the team get, is the team still going, or is the team uncompensated and given up? Like who's still here and who's not here? Who's here and who's pretending? I think that's a really, really good point.
Well, you're telling the tale of a dying crypto at the present time, where a crypto is born and there's so many percent kept in a mechanism for the actual ongoing development of the coin. And over time, the coin sold off, and the governance of the coin, who get paid wages out of it, their wages, their income from coin selling is going down and down and down until they get to the point where they go, listen, I can't afford the wages any longer. We've got to let people go, and so the development dies off, and then the coin dies.
Yeah, and we've all seen the chart pattern that creates. I call it dead altcoin still bleeds.
Yeah.
Like it just down and down and down, like all the way. Yeah, I think it's something we've got to really be wary of. Yeah. Problem for a future day, but yeah, I think it's really interesting that you brought that up. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
One before you go. What if we get, have you considered that we might get something along the lines of what happened in 2019-20, where it dropped down to something like 6,000 and then it was the last capitulation down to 3? I'm not saying the exact prices again, but it looked like we'd done the drop and then it just sort of flatlines a little bit up and then boom. Buying opportunity for lifetime.
Let me share my screen and I'll show you what that looked like. So what that looked like in 2018, let's look at a daily chart, just it'll be easier. Is after it was this long bear market, right? So it's very different. So we had from December all the way to, I think the lows were like a full year, like 6 months later. And it was very painful. There was some false dawns. I bought this fucking dip, bought this dip, and it just, and then it started to make higher lows, like low. It was like, okay, another higher low, fuck another higher low. It's going to work. And then a big bar. And then it was like, it really looked like it was going to go up. And then fucking rugged and fell in half. It went from 6,000 down to 3 really, really quickly. And it had a couple of false bounces on the way. And
what's
no one in the world picked this spot.
What's interesting to me, it's break the only support it had, then fall to nowhere, no support, and then reverse.
Yeah. There was no support down where it reversed. There was just no reason for it.
Yeah, so
every last seller had sold.
It's Bitcoin.
And
this bottom was more a lack of seller than anything.
It was a lack of sellers. So I mean, so at this stage, it really looked like crypto may be dead for all time.
And so if we translate to where we are now, the last point of support is 20K, which we have a bounce off. And
I think that's exactly what's going to happen, dude. I think we've got one more down in us, and I think it's going to be as scary as this one was.
Yeah, probably so.
Maybe not as big, but it's scary. Like, and I think it'll be as heartbreaking too. Like I think this rally is probably.
I think it's clear if you look at it on the weekly chart, maybe.
I think. I think this rally is probably going to look reasonably convincing to a novice. I think it's going to really break. I think it should really be a Fredo, you broke my heart situation. Like this rally maybe last a week, maybe even 2 weeks, maybe give people a little bit of hope back, get people feeling a bit optimistic, and then just fuck you. Another blow up,
just fuck you.
Just fuck you again. Like you fucking like apples. How about them apples? Come on.
What a good summary.
You know, I could see it getting all the way up to here and people really thinking maybe it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We're back at 25 and then whoosh, something like that. I think is so when we're in these situations, what I want you to be looking for is what we call the max pain trade. What just causes the maximum pain for everyone, and that's probably the highest probability.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now it'd be getting those shorts which have come down the market, getting them stopped out. Stopping out the shorts and then stopping out the longs. Everybody gets it right in the arse. I think that's the maximum pain trade. So I think that's really what we want to avoid, you know, and we want to avoid over trading for that reason. It's definitely not a time to be shorting. That last leg down is going to be horrifically emotionally difficult to short. I wouldn't touch it. Right now we should be saving up. Right now we should be saving up for the diesel to fill up the dump truck. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, guys. I'm out.
See you. Bye.
Nice. See you guys.